And I'm wondering if you'll answer some questions for me.
You bet. You bet.
Because I was standing in line to check in at the hotel, and you were there, and you turned around and said, "Are you Debra?" And I normally would deny it, or I'd say, "No, a lot of people tell me I look like her," but
Right.
there was something about you, and I knew that you must be involved with American Promise, and that's why you were here. And I thought in that moment, all these things came to me. I'm on the advisory council, and I don't know this woman, and that's going to be part of my journey, is to find out who these people are from across the nation that I
Right.
have a commonality with, that I have, because I know that I won't agree with them about everything. But we're here because we agree about, I think, the most important thing, which is how do we live in this democracy, right?
Right. It's because Wyoming is a red state. It's very conservative.
Yeah.
However, the citizens of Wyoming they have their own mind.
Yeah.
And they also believe in some fundamental rights. And in fact, the Wyoming Constitution says that we as individuals are granted life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness under the Constitution, and that corporations are derived from the people.
Right.
So actually, the Wyoming Constitution says that. So what happened in the Citizens United decision goes against Wyoming's
Your
Constitution.
own constitution.
Exactly.
Right.
So, but
So
it's going to
states'
be
rights become a real question.
right.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a hard fought battle, in the state, because the Secretary of State has set the bar so high. 38,818 signatures are needed from a state with the lowest population of all the states, and barely more than 500,000.
And a long drive to each one of them.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Wyoming is
Per capita.
a small town with long streets,
Right.
as one of the former governors used to say.
Right.
So, my own journey was that I really was, I would say, apolitical. I was focused on my medical career. And then in 2016, I started to wake up, and I became really upset about what was happening in our election system. And with that,
Just in 2016, I mean, No, I'm not. But I'm saying there was, because the Citizens United decision didn't really land on you, right? As most Americans. In 2010, it didn't land on most Americans. What had happened? It's how they got it through. And
Right. I was pretty focused on my career in medicine and tired in terms of the kind of schedule that I had.
Yeah, it's
but then I couldn't
demanding.
ignore it anymore. And once you become enlightened about something, there's no going back.
Yeah.
You cannot go back and pretend to put your head in the sand
That's
anymore.
right. And it's going to be a great story, Wyoming. I mean, I can feel it. It's just, I think there's something about the Western states that has a long history of, pioneers and tough battles, hard fought, and
Self-reliance.
and really a kind of, resilience, but a kind of belief in the core values.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think that it's wonderful that you and your husband, right, Rod, is very active as well in the movement. And so what do you see as what's your next biggest hurdle?
So I'm the Park County team leader, but the fact that we're so spread out in the state, I think the big hurdle really is the hurdle of numbers. It's the fact that not only do we need over 38,000 signatures from valid, certified voters, registered voters, but we also need to pass a 15% threshold from 2/3 of the counties.
Right.
So actually, I would say in some ways our biggest hurdle is going through some of these counties where we don't yet have infrastructure and getting a lot of people on board.
The citizens, to get the citizens organized, right?
Right.
This is the brilliance of, I think, American Promise, is the way that it's set up to do this.
Yes.
This is just, although I do feel American Promise represents a kind of clearinghouse. That's how I think of it, of so many other issues. And the one that brought me to meet Jeff was, working to stop fracking from coming to the state of New York. And it was so grassroots. It was the first really successful grassroots movement in many, many years. I mean, because it was truly grassroots. And I define that by a lot of people who didn't get along and a lot of people who thought they had opposing viewpoints, but we all had the same goal.
Right.
And somehow that kept the sticky part, you know?
Right.
And
that must have been so empowering for you.
It was
To have gone through that
slowly, it took
process.
7 years,
Yeah.
but it was slowly a real awakening for me. I'd always been political. I'd always supported candidates, that kind of politics, but not
Right.
like this.
Right.
And
On
I'd
the ground.
been there from the ground up, and it was my home. And we were sitting on a shale, gas field. And I thought, wow, I'm really staring it in the face. What do I say to my kids? And so I said, this is a public health issue.
Right.
And I was brought up in the 50s, 60s, where that word still meant something. Those two words meant something, public
Right.
health.
Right.
And somewhere, I don't know, maybe in the 70s, it turned to environmentalism. And we lost public health.
Right.
And you as a doctor can
Right.
really relate to what I'm saying. I mean, if you turn on the tap and bad water comes out,
Right.
you're going to be a really busy doctor.
Right, right. If you're seeing those people in the emergency room where I practice, and you see the health effects of the environment on them,
Right.
it's it gets you. I mean, it touches
and you have to start
directly.
tracking it back.
Right.
And so this is a great place for us to sort of say that's exactly what we're here for, because
Yeah.
really I believe that it's like water. Until we get this 28th Amendment,
Yes.
nothing else can really happen and stick.
Right.
And I'm glad we agree about that.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
So I hope I get to come to Wyoming.
Well, I'll invite you to
Okay.
Wyoming.
We'll have a ranch party.
Have you been to one?
I've driven through Wyoming.
Okay. Okay.
But I haven't been.
Oh, I'd love to have you at Wyoming. Stay on our farm.
Great.
Yeah,
I would
we've
love
got lots of room, and yeah, you'd enjoy it.